What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new video. Somebody recently asked me a good question about cayenne pepper, and this individual has watched all of my videos on cayenne, and he knows that I talk about the heart benefits of cayenne. He wanted to know if there was anything else besides cayenne that he could take that are good for the heart, and there absolutely is. I'm going to name two others in this video, ladies and gentlemen. Aside from cayenne, which is kind of the king heart herb, it increases circulation. There's so many benefits to cayenne for heart health. I highly suggest you read a book called Left for Dead by Dick Quinn, and I also suggest that you familiarize yourself with the works of Dr. John Christopher and his work with cayenne. He has a book, I believe it's called Capsaicin, but he swore by cayenne, ladies and gentlemen. There are so many benefits to this particular substance as long as you take it right, as long as you use the right heat unit. So if you're starting out with cayenne pepper, you don't want to use the 90,000 heat unit African bird's eye cayenne variety. You want to start off with something small, such as typical culinary cayenne pepper, which can be found in most supermarkets. And nowadays you can find most spices organic. It didn't used to be like that in the early 90s, but nowadays you can find organic cayenne pretty much at any typical supermarket here in the Matrix. But you want to consume cayenne. Just before we go into talking about the two other constituents I recommend for heart health, you want to take cayenne as a tea, preferably warm, and you want to make sure to have some food in your system before you consume it, especially if you're getting started with this and you've never done it before. Your body needs to build up a tolerance to the heat. I consume a handful of peppers, such as but not limited to the Carolina Reapers, the Scotch Bonnets, the Naga Vipers, the chocolate habaneros, the peach habaneros, the lemon habaneros, the Trinidad Scorpions, the Carolina Reapers. There's just a handful of really hot peppers that I consume on a regular basis that are far hotter than cayenne, and my body's built up a tolerance to such an extent that I can consume the stuff on an empty stomach. But if you're just getting started with cayenne pepper, ladies and gentlemen, you need to make sure to consume it again as a warm tea and take little sips after you've consumed some food. That way you can gauge how it makes you feel. It's probably going to burn a little if you've never done this before, but work through it so that you can get the benefits. So again, start off with sips. Don't just slam it, because if you slam it, you might put yourself into a whole heap of trouble. I also don't recommend taking cayenne pepper in capsules ever, unless it's mixed with other herbs in the right ratios, like Dr. John Christopher was able to do. Because cayenne pepper, if you take it in capsules, especially on an empty stomach, it can the capsule can break open in your gut and unload all of the cayenne in your system, and it can make you feel like you're having the worst cramps ever. When I first started getting into cayenne, pretty much 10-11 years ago, I did this, and I paid the price. So Swanson Vitamins at the time had a product, I don't know if they still have it, it was called, I think, Super Cayenne. It had ginger and hawthorn and a few other constituents in it. And I remember consuming a couple of those capsules thinking that my stomach would be able to handle it, and it wreaked havoc on my gut. So after that, I started breaking open the capsules and preparing them as a tea, and this is how you want to do it. If Dr. John Christopher, for the most part, I believe, would have agreed with me on this. So cayenne, unless you mix it with other herbs, again, just a tip, don't take it in capsules unless you're mixing it with other herbs. And if you're mixing it with other herbs, it can have a handful of benefits, you guys, because the cayenne helps increase your circulation, and it helps move the herbs that you're mixing with the cayenne, helps move it through your system. So a lack of circulation is a huge problem here in the underworld. People have thick coagulated blood. Their hearts are constantly under an assault from all of the iron exposure, ladies and gentlemen, all of the heavy metals, all of the bad food, all of the bad fats, not the healthy fats. So using cayenne can really help jumpstart your system. In my opinion, it's kind of it's like jumpstarting your car. And most vehicles, I'm not even going to use metaphors, ladies and gentlemen, excuse me, I think you catch my drift. So now that we've got that out of the way, I just wanted to say that aside from cayenne pepper, there are a handful of beneficial constituents, herbs, supplements, etc. that you can use for your heart. But two of the most easily obtainable and affordable supplements are magnesium and coenzyme Q10. a lot of people that have reached out to me over the years and let me know that, you know, I started taking the coenzyme Q10 after you recommended it, and my irregular heartbeats went away. And that's something that's very common. Coenzyme Q10, more often than not, helps you get a predictable and steady heart rate, which is really a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen. If you have irregular heartbeats, it can be very scary. I used to have these when I was younger, where I would be fine, and then all of a sudden I would feel my heart almost sometimes feel like it would stop, or it would start skipping really fast, or this, that, and the other. So that's a horrible thing to go through. And if you can stabilize that with coenzyme Q10, which is incredibly safe, ladies and gentlemen, there are mountains of research on the benefits of coenzyme Q10. Again, I highly recommend it. It's a small price to pay for the potential benefits that you can get from it. And as you grow older, ladies and gentlemen, it becomes exceedingly difficult for your body to produce its own coenzyme Q10. So supplemental CoQ10, in my opinion, once you reach 30, is kind of a necessity. You can get it from certain foods, but the foods that have the most coenzyme Q10, some people have a moral aversion to that. So supplemental coenzyme Q10, whether it be in the form of ubiquinone or ubiquinol, I mean, why not take it? Ubiquinol is the more expensive form of coenzyme Q10. Ubiquinone is the cheaper form, and if you look at the research of Dr. Steven Sinatra, the cardiologist, you'll find that through the research he's done, the cheaper form of ubiquinone is pretty much just as effective, maybe a little less bioavailable in the really elderly people than ubiquinol, which is the more expensive form. So ubiquinone and ubiquinol, whether you get a expensive fancy CoQ10 product or just use the Now Foods cheap powder like I use, which works great. In fact, most of the people who have the best results, clients of mine with coenzyme Q10, let me know that the Now Food stuff works better than the more expensive stuff. A lot of the expensive supplements on the market, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about marketing and using fancy forms of supplements so that they can squeeze more money out of you. So CoQ10 and magnesium. Magnesium is one of the cheapest supplements, and low magnesium levels, ladies and gentlemen, are one of the leading causes of heart attacks and heart failure in the matrix. So, unfortunately, the testing that is done by most mainstream doctors here in the matrix for magnesium levels does not show. It's not a good test. They do more often than not a serum magnesium test, and your body works overtime to keep a specific amount of magnesium in your blood, regardless of whether you're low in it or not. So it'll actually pull magnesium out of other parts of your body to keep it into your blood, because your body knows if your serum level of magnesium dips down into the low range, you run the risk of having a heart attack or sudden heart failure. So people who are chronically deficient in magnesium can test positive, or test through the standard testing measures. It can show that someone who's very deficient in magnesium has magnesium, it can show that they have sufficient magnesium. So I think that magnesium, due to our stress levels, is a crucial supplement for everyone pretty much nowadays. As your stress levels increase, your stress hormones, you name it, bad sleep, when you throw your melatonin, your neurotransmitters, and your prolactin all out of whack through, not blocking blue light, we're exposed to so much stress here in the matrix that I personally think that magnesium is an essential supplement to get on. Try it for 6 months, see what happens. So again, magnesium, it's going to help you calm down. Magnesium is a total heart food, ladies and gentlemen. It is a full body food, and we know through the research of people like Morley Robbins that the magnesium burn rate is kickstarted during stress. And what that essentially means in layman's terms is when you're chronically stressed, your body uses magnesium as a buffer for that stress. It burns through it. So it's kind of like here in the West, we're burning the candle at both ends. So again, cayenne pepper, coenzyme Q10, magnesium. And another thing that you can do, ladies and gentlemen, as you work with the cayenne pepper, is you can start adding things to your cayenne potions. You can start adding hawthorn berry, and you can start adding ginger. You can start adding turmeric, although I think the best heart potion is going to be cayenne pepper, lemon juice from an organic lemon, just a little bit, hawthorn berries, hawthorn berry powder, and ginger, ladies and gentlemen. Ginger is going to work on your circulatory system. It's going to cleanse your gastrointestinal tract, and it's going to directly help your heart. It's going to increase blood flow, especially when paired with the cayenne. And the hawthorn berry, ladies and gentlemen, helps build a defense mechanism for the heart and the veins, your entire system for the most part. Hawthorn berry is very productive. It helps repair damaged tissue. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, but based on my research, it appears that cayenne pepper can help repair a very weak heart. Or hawthorn berries, excuse me. And when you mix these things together, you have a very synergistic blend of natural components that can really help fortify your, not only your heart, but your entire circulatory system. Cayenne pepper increases circulation, and when you mix cayenne pepper with ginger, the circulatory benefits are quadrupled for the most part. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this one up, you guys. I hope that answered your question to the person who asked me. Obviously, there's other things that you can consume for your heart, but I think that cayenne pepper, coenzyme Q10, and magnesium is a very legitimate start, and for most people, it's really all that they need. Peace out.